Good morning. My name is Jacob Folger, and I'm an artist and a sculptor. And I like to share what I do. Um, and today we're going to wire wrap this tumbled calcite crystal. I found this in a little store that sold rocks and gems, and it's a little unusual. I've never seen a tumbled calcite stone before, and it's really kind of a pretty stone. So we're going to be using that, and then we're going to be using wire. This wire I bought at a bead shop. It's just basic wire. It's not any kind of a precious metal or anything like that. I have gold here. I have that in a 16 gauge, and I have copper in a 18 gauge. A spool of this, 10 yards, 8 to 10 yards, is only $6.50 at most bead stores. I think this is pretty common. And the higher the gauge size, actually that's the thinner. It becomes thinner. So this is 16 gauge and it's pretty thick. This is 18 gauge. I prefer to work in 18 gauge. It's just a little easier, but it's still pretty solid. And I know people that will, wire wrap in much higher gauges, but I think it's a little flimsy if you do that. The tools are minimal. We're going to be using this end of a paintbrush, a small paintbrush, about this size, of course, would be the best. And instead of wire cutters, which can be kind of expensive, you can use nail clippers to cut the wire, or you can use scissors to cut the wire. Nail clippers are probably better. You could get a little closer to the end of the wire with something like this. And of course you can also buy clippers, wire clippers, but they tend to be a little expensive, I think. So we're gonna, and then finally, I just want to touch on this. You can, when the wrap is done, you can use cord. This is cord that I found at a bead shop. This is one thickness, and then this is another thickness here. This is a little bit thicker here. I think they call this waxed linen, if you're wondering. And that's also minimal cost. Okay, so we're going to get started here. I'm going to use the 18 gauge copper wire. It's a little easier to work with. Now, there's two ways of doing this. You can either work while it's on the spool, or you can unwind it a ways and then cut it off and work while the wire is free from the spool. The latter is what, the second one is what I recommend, and the reason why is because it just might be easier for you. So that's what we'll do here. We'll just take off maybe about 2 feet of wire and cut it, and then we'll work from that. And now we're going to start with the closure. This is a beginner class, so sometimes, ending your wire and making it look nice after you've wrapped the stone is kind of difficult. So I came up with this way of making the closure first and then wrapping the stone. So that's what we're going to do. So to the back end of this paintbrush, we're going to hold the wire about 2 inches above, ending about 2 to 3 inches above. And we're just going to wrap that wire around like that about 3 times. And then we're going to squeeze. You can press it with your fingernails or the ends of your fingers so that that coil around the paintbrush becomes tight. Then we're going to take this short end right here and we're going to bring it up as tight as we can to the coil and then wrap it around the stem like that. See how I'm doing that? and wrap it as far as you can, and then, you know, tight. Oh, I just broke my paintbrush. Gotta watch out for that. Live and learn. Okay, but that can happen, so just be careful. It still can be used. As you can see, that end can be used. I'm going to leave that live. I'm going to leave that on the video so that you can see the, you know, some of the problems that you can run into here. So you might want to pick up two paintbrushes when you get your supplies. As far as the stone goes, keep in mind that this tumbled calcite stone is very slippery, and so that's going to make it harder to wrap. If you want to practice a few times on just basic pebbles or things that you can find in your yard, it might be a good idea. It is hard unless you have some experience to wrap a stone that's slippery like this. When you get ready to wrap the stone, you should bring it to the back of the stone like this, and keep that closure fairly close to the stone. You don't want it up here like that, because it's going to look funny when you go to finish it off. And then holding it tight to the stone, just slowly, this is a slow you know, process of wrapping it tightly and to the stone to cradle it. Like that. The idea, of course, is to cradle the stone so that it won't slip out from beneath the wire. And again, it's a slippery stone, so it's going to be harder to achieve that than it would be if it was a stone that wasn't so slippery. But this is the stone I had, and I wanted to, this is what I wanted to wrap for the video. Sometimes teaching with a harder stone is actually the preferred, because then you're better on your way. So I went up to the, after I went up around a couple times, I went up to the stem, the closure, and I went around it once. And now I'm inspecting it, and it's really not too bad. It's a little bit like a cage wrap, because a cage wrap is, you know, where the stone is loose within the cage or the wire. But it's not quite like a cage wrap. But I think I'm gonna go around down again to the below, and go around and cradle it one more time around the bottom, and then back up to the closure. This is definitely would be considered freestyle, and then tight as possible, keeping the wire as tight as possible, so that will hold on to that stone really nice. And then around the stem, which is beneath the little coil here, which is the closure, and maybe around a couple times, as tight as possible. And if this didn't work and wasn't good for you the first time, then you can do it again. And when you cut your wire, you want to cut it as close as you can without cutting anything else. Like that. And then you can take maybe a fingernail and just press it in and make sure that's nice and tight. Now I think that's actually kind of a nice wrap. It's a nice It's a nice little design. It's most certainly freestyle. And it's actually turned out pretty good. And then you can straighten your, with your fingers, you can just straighten the closure so that it's in a place that you like it. You can take a little bit of cord, put it through there, and you have a finished piece there. I like that. I think it turned out pretty nice. I'm going to show you a few others that I've done so you can see the different types of stones. You can go to a gem shop, gem and rock shop, that sort of thing. New Age stores, metaphysical stores, they often carry stones. You can pick up stones from around where you live, outside, outdoors. Often find pretty stones that way as well. And you might enjoy this, even just for wearing them yourself, or even selling them as a little side business, making them and selling them. This, by the way, I didn't mention it before. I paid $6 for this stone, this tumbled calcite crystal. $6 at a little specialty store. So they're not very expensive. That is a little expensive, really, for something like this. I normally wouldn't spend it, but like I said, I had not seen one before, so I said, well, I'll go ahead and get it. So, again, my name is Jacob Folger. If you ever have any questions, you can email me or comment, and I'll respond. I do like comments. Tell me what you think of the video. Was this helpful to you? And if you like the video, please click on like. And if you like this kind of content, I have nearly, over 300 videos, all kinds of how-to. Most of it is art and art-related, sculpture, all kinds of things, and making jewelry. So if you like the content, please click on subscribe, and it's free and painless. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.